So for today, we are going to be just starting with a really easy one. Would everybody just please multiply this out? Okay, so this was x squared, and then I do it this way with the outside ones next. And that would be plus 4x, and then I do these inside ones, minus 3x, and then I do the lasts, which makes negative 12. So that's x squared plus x minus 12. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Okay, awesome. Now, tell me this. What are A and B and C? Well, what's A? 1. What's B? What's C? Yep, 1, 1, and negative 12. Okay. Now, I'd like you to use the quadratic formula, and I'll help you in case you forgot it, and stick in A, B, and C. X equals, what's next? Negative B. Plus or minus the square root of B squared, what? Minus 4AC. All over 2A. Very good. You had some participation from around the room. And now you drop in 1, 1, and negative 12 in the right spots. I made them different colors. Negative B, it's like negative, and the B term is 1, so A was 1, B was 1, C was negative 12. Only one thing that's really hard in this whole thing, because mostly it's ones, right? So Avia, across the top here. How do I start? How about this part? Just negative 1. Plus and minus the square root part, as you were saying. Okay, now let's do the square root part. One squared. 1 minus 4 times negative 12. Do you see right away that there's two negatives, everybody? There's a negative here and there's a negative here. So this is going to be plus. You could say minus a negative, but it's smarter to just look ahead and go, ooh, two negatives, that means I need to add. Amelia, have you done 4 times 12 yet? Liv, did you do 4 times 12 yet? 48 is correct. All over 2A, which is 2. Now, you should be able to finish this all the way off. There's two answers. You do it once with the plus and once with the minus, because you know this double sign here. I'll pause for a second while you get those two answers. Okay, I decided to do one more step because this part here, 1 plus the 48 would be 49, of course. That 49 is a special thing that's got a weird name and starts with a D. It's called the what? Discriminant. Good. Did you notice that it was positive and therefore we're getting two answers? If this had been negative, we would have no answers because square roots of negative aren't real. Do you get? If the discriminant had been negative, we would have had no answers. And the last case is either it's positive like it is today, or it's negative, which means there's no real answers, or it could be 0. You could do a 0 right here. And then there's just one answer. Because adding 0 or subtracting 0, you know, this part here would give you the same exact thing. So if your discriminant is this part, there's 3 cases. It's either greater than 0, or the D is less than 0, or the D is equal to 0. And if it's equal to 0, get one solution. If it's less than 0, you get none. And if it's bigger than 0, you get 2 solutions. Now, that's what you're going to get quizzed on after lunch. Now, that's the hardest part right there. If you have to, write these down so you can memorize them one last time real quick before we take the quiz after lunch, which is, if I say the discriminant's negative, you got to be able to go, oh yeah, that's the kind, because there's no square roots of negatives, there's no solution. Okay, so to finish this off, we had -1 plus, and I hope you knew the square root of 49 was 7. How many of you knew that? Raise your hand if you did. Okay, good. Then that's over 2. And then -1 minus 7 over 2. And those come out to completely different answers. So I'm not going to put an equals between them. This is one answer, and this is one answer. This one's 6 over 2, which is 3. Raise your hand if 3 was one of your solutions. Good. And then Stella, help me out with this one. What's -1 minus 7? Nope, that one's -8. Because they're on the same team. They're -1 and -7. So it makes -8 divided by 2 makes, yes. So I got -4. Those are my 2 solutions. 3 and -4. Now, how could I have known way earlier that the answers were going to be 3 and -4? Because, go back in time. See how he could have known that it was going to be 3 and -4? Because factoring form gives you the answers so much easier. That's why I say if you can factor it, you should. Okay. So one more like that, except I'm just going to give you an equation. Sorry, too messy. And I'm going to say solve with the quadratic formula. I know some of you know this. What's the first step? You can't just go, I know A, B, and C. No, you got to do something first. Avia. Very good. Subtract 9. Yes, you got to make it equal to 0 like that. Very good. From here, you have A, B, and C. Now you can use that quadratic formula. I know there's another way to do it, but I strongly recommend that you practice quadratic formula because that's what's on the quiz. I want to pause for a second. You practice that. Okay, x equals -b, which makes negative of -8, so it's 8. Plus or minus square root of b squared, which is 64, minus 4ac, 4 times 1 times -9, all over 2a, which is 2 times 1. I'm throwing a 1 right there just to make it really clear. So there's a 2. Now it's 8 plus and minus the square root of 64 plus 36, because 9 times 4 is 36. Ooh, that worked out nice. 8 plus and minus the square root of 100 over 2. Would you agree that the square root of 100 is 10? So I got 8 plus 10 over 2 and 8 minus 10 over 2. And I think you can all do this. What's 18 divided by 2? 9. And what's -2 divided by 2? -2 divided by 2. -1. Those are your 2 solutions from the quadratic formula. How many of you would have got that right? Cool. That's what the quiz is going to be like after lunch. I'll see you after lunch.